Cool. Yeah. So listen, let me start by saying thanks for having me here. Obviously, my first time presenting to the business school, and I've been working with Max and Simon for a little while. So really interesting space to be in. I must say, quite impressed to have so many people showing up on a Saturday morning. So really cool and really excited to share what I've got to do. You guys can see my screen. You can see the presentation. Just give me all good.
It's sort of it's kind of quite big on my screen.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like not quite in the center.
That's bizarre.
I can see the I can see how to start a digital agency.
That's all you can see, yeah? How to start a digital agency.
Yeah, and then I can see, yeah.
You can't see it. There's no time on the screen or anything like that.
No, I can see it says slide 1 of 14. I can see all of that stuff.
Well,
that's
better.
See. That's better. There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Got it.
Perfect. There you go.
Got it. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, so let me start off by saying, as I said, nice to be here. And by all means, I know that the digital marketing space is an interesting one, and it's a pretty elusive one for some people. A lot of people have had experiences all over the place. Some people have tried internet marketing or digital marketing. Some people have, pretty much everybody's had some sort of experience with it, whether you've known it or not. So it's a really interesting space. By all means, shoot any questions through. I'll try to answer them as I go, but I've tried to keep this as sort of short and straightforward and simple as possible. I understand that, as I say, first time here, but I understand that the people in the room are very much, you guys are business-minded. You're interested in opportunity. You're interested in what is out there for you to do. And I think that obviously that's why I'm here, is to discuss digital marketing or running and owning and founding a digital agency as an opportunity. I'll go through that now, why it's good for you and who it's good for and whatnot. But, by all means, ask any questions and shoot anything through. And obviously I'll explain a little bit about who I am and how I, come to the party and what I bring to the party and why I can advise on this. So, as I said, briefly just about me, that was me without a beard, obviously. Before I grew a beard, that was about 2 years ago. So I run a company called Globital. We're essentially a digital marketing agency. That's whenever people say, hey, what do you guys do? We're a digital marketing agency. So we do SEO, web design, copywriting, paid ads. We do all of that, but we're a wholesaler. So we only work directly with digital agencies. So we partner with digital agencies only. We don't work with what we call retail businesses. We only work with wholesale businesses and other agencies, and we create scale. We allow them to basically run better businesses. That's the job we do. Bit of my background, I've obviously run my own digital agency. Damien, who started the business, he's in Australia. He also ran his own digital agency. So we've been around. We understand the digital business, we understand the digital industry, the goods and the bads of it. And there's a lot of both, like any industry. One of the things that what we try to do is we're trying to change that stigma around digital marketing, that it is a sort of a cutthroat, a dodgy place, if you know what I mean. And that's why we work with agencies, and we try and, as I say, partner with agencies to just help them run better businesses. And in case the accent doesn't give it away, I'm from South Africa. So I'm currently in the US, but I'm from South Africa originally. We're a global business though. So I understand most of the people I think in the room are from the UK, if I'm not wrong. But we work with agencies all over the world. So just quickly to get onto, you might be sitting there going, hey, digital marketing not for me, or it is for me, and how do I know if it's for me? There's a few ways you can tell. The reality of the situation is, I'll get into why digital marketing is, and why running a digital agency is a good business opportunity. But how do you know straight off the bat if you're the kind of person that might be good at digital marketing, or at running a digital agency specifically? You don't even have to really be good at digital marketing. That's the good news. But there's a few things you can ask yourself, and a few things that are sort of lightning rods to know, hey, is this the kind of thing that's for me? Number one is if you're a good salesman. So we have, obviously, as I say, we've got agencies all over the world we work with, and the ones that we work that use us best, that run great digital agencies, are those that have a key sense of sales. The reason for that is because digital agencies and digital marketing is very much run by lead generation. It's run by the ability to bring in new leads and to close deals. It's not always about having a lot of leads, but it's the ability to close a lot of leads. You know, if your close rate is great, if you're able to convert a lot of leads into commercial clients, you'll be good in the digital agency. And the ones that are great with us are the ones that have a set up sales team in their agency that just sell. So it is about asking yourself, am I a good salesperson? You don't have to be a good salesperson. That will come as you get better at marketing yourself and marketing your agency. But sales is a big part of running a digital agency. And if you're a great salesperson, if you bring that to the table, it's a key that you might be great at running a digital agency as well. The other reason that you might want to get into start a digital agency is you may be completing a course that you've done. Maybe you're currently finishing a course. You maybe did a course in the past on digital marketing. Maybe you've got an interest in it and you're currently doing a course. Also, might be a good chance, a good opportunity to actually start a digital agency, which in essence, what you're doing is you're starting a business. And it's whether it's going to be your core business or it's a side hustle, as we say, it's an opportunity. If you want to put that education to work, it's an opportunity there as well. Another reason you might want to start a digital agency, maybe you're not happy where you're at. You may be in a job, and I mean, if the last 2 years has taught us anything, it's that life's short and we've got to make the most of it. So you may not be happy in the job that you're at, and you may be at a stage maybe where maybe you've hit a bit of a ceiling. Maybe you know more than your boss does. Maybe you are just looking for a new opportunity and you're looking to get out of your job and maybe not work for someone else. Maybe you want to set something up for yourself. It's a good opportunity as well. And the other reason you might want to start is that you're young. One of the cool things about digital agencies, starting a digital business, is that it's one of those businesses where if you're young and you're still figuring out what you want to do with your life, or you still can afford to make mistakes, maybe you still live at home with your parents, maybe you're just adventurous and keen to take some risks. It's a business where you can make mistakes and learn quite quickly. So obviously you want to try and avoid the mistakes and not make mistakes. But if you are young and it is something that you're interested in doing, being young and being adventurous and being risk verse, it's something that you could look at and take an opportunity to do. So that might answer the question if it's a good thing for you. Really, it's about your motivation. What are you motivated to do, and why are you motivated to start the business? Ask yourself those questions. The next question you might want to ask yourself is, why now? So as Claire was saying in the intro, COVID-19, if I could say it in one word, why should you start a digital agency right now? It's one word, it's COVID. COVID has created a real opportunity for digital agencies to come about. So what we've seen, obviously, as I say, we support digital agencies all over the world. And as soon as COVID hits, like you guys in whatever business you're in and whatever you're doing, and your friends and family would have told you, every industry was hit. In the digital industry, what we noticed pretty immediately as COVID hit, was there were agencies that immediately sort of folded and disappeared. They just kind of packed it in and said, hey, this is not for me. I'm not going to survive. And that's fine. And that's unfortunate. And that's why people work. But what we also noticed was there was a lot of agencies starting up. Now, when those agencies left, when those people shut down, those founders said, hey, listen, I've been looking to get out anyway for a while. Let me get out. This is a good opportunity. What that created was a situation where a lot of people lost their digital support, and it created a lot of opportunities for new agencies to step in and new people to start businesses. So it's created a ton of opportunities, and those opportunities, even 2 years down the line of COVID starting, are still around. We, as a case study, for example, we grow our business as a wholesale digital marketing agency. Our business grows when our agencies grow. And during the COVID period, we basically doubled in size. So while we lost a lot of agencies packed in and said, hey guys, thanks for the support, but I'm out. we actually grew as well. We grew with our current agencies, and we signed up a bunch of new agencies. And that to us is evidence in itself that the digital industry is growing, and it's not slowing down. So it is a very good opportunity. Us as a case study where we're in the business of supporting digital agencies, we saw growth. So it means that there are digital agencies out there, and people are starting new digital agencies, and those that currently have digital agencies are growing. So it's a really, really hot place to start. The other reason that it's a good time to start a digital agency is because of traffic. Obviously, online traffic. You know, a lot of people, a lot of countries, even to this day. I mean, we know what's going on currently with the new variants of the disease and of the pandemic, and we've got a lot of countries starting to lock down again. That's once again pushing a lot of people back online. So the traffic online is growing immensely. And as we all know, with the lockdowns comes a drop in foot traffic. So a lot of businesses are losing out on a lot of traffic. And what are they having to do? They're having to go online. Traditionally, businesses that were happy to just sit in a brick and mortar environment and just let people walk by and walk in, walk out and do a lot of business are having to start looking online for opportunities to grow and to sustain themselves. So traffic has changed immensely in the last 2 years, and there's an opportunity to take advantage of that. And then another reason why it's a good time is, I mean, this is something that's true, was true 2 years ago, was true 4 years ago, 6 years, and will be true in the next 5 to 10 years as well. There's always new trends to take advantage of. So I'm sure there's a lot of people here who are definitely on Instagram. I'm clear you alluded to people getting a bit sick of Facebook. But there's new places where people are hanging out. TikTok, Snapchat's a big one. Clubhouse came up a couple of minutes ago as well, which is quite interesting because Clubhouse has been around for a little while, and I also, like Claire, I also kind of lost interest in it a little bit. But people are everywhere, and people are hanging out everywhere, and there's trends to take advantage of. So this is a good time to do it. Yeah, I mean that's why now. It's a good opportunity at the moment. The other thing you might want to consider and think about is why digital marketing. Why is this a good business? And I mean, obviously, I'm in digital marketing, and I know that this running and owning a digital agency can be potentially good. There's a bunch of good reasons why starting out is actually a good opportunity as well. Number one is there's zero barrier to entry. So anybody can start a digital agency with education, without education, with big backing financially, without big backing financially. You know, the barrier to entry is quite low for digital agencies. Anybody, especially when you work with people like us, I mean, obviously our job is to support digital agencies, whether they're a startup or they're existing and been around for 10 years. When you meet someone like us, a resource partner, we call ourselves a resource partner, we can instantly turn you into a digital agency overnight, because we can just say, hey, you need copywriting, here's some copywriting. Hey, you need SEO, here's some SEO. Hey, you need a new website, here's a new website. So with opportunities like that and partners like that, like us out there, starting a digital agency, very, very simple. Getting it right, and that's hopefully what I'll try and give you the 5 steps here, which will help you get you onto the path of getting it right. At the end of the day, like any business, it's down to elbow grease. You're going to have to put in the work, put in the time, make some smart decisions, touch of luck as well. But if you're getting started, is quite easy in digital marketing. Another good reason, obviously, why digital marketing is a good option is it's remote. I haven't physically been into an office in 4 or 5 years. We used to have an office in South Africa when we had a copywriting team that was based in Johannesburg, where I'm from. As you know, even before COVID hit, we actually everybody started working from home. And yeah, we meet up from time to time, and obviously we still run a proper business. But the reality is that everything's pretty much remote. I mean, I'm sitting here in California at the moment. My copywriting team is in Johannesburg. I've got a team in Pakistan to do a lot of execution. My partner's in Australia. So we're very remote. And that's the nature of digital marketing and running a digital agency. There are ups and downs to that. But if you need to start a small business quite quickly and easily on a shoestring, running a digital agency is quite a good option as well. Another good reason digital marketing is good is margins. The margins that you can put onto things as you start to deliver services to clients can be pretty great. And you're able to be quite flexible with your margins depending on the value that you're adding to that business that you're supporting. You know, if you take, for example, a website as an example, I use websites throughout the presentation. You take a website and you're selling it for $10,000. The margin that you've put on top of that, maybe you're doing it yourself or you're using a resource partner like us, it can be set, or you can be quite flexible depending on how things are going. It's not like a lot of businesses where the margins are quite thin or where the margins are quite set. You can be quite flexible. So it's a very, very versatile and agile business to run digital. And another one is you get to help people. And I know that's a bit altruistic and a lot of people not into business, they're into business for money. But the reality is that I think coming off the back of what Claire was talking about, being in a community and attracting people who are like-minded and adding value. It's a big part of what we like to do in our business. One of our big values as a business is to help and support other businesses to be successful. And that is what drives us. Helping people is a big part of what we do. You know, we don't just look at it as we're building a website for an agency who's building a website for an end client. We look at it as, hey, we're supporting this agency to go bigger so that they can put their kids through school. You know, so it's quite a good motivator for running a business. So that's a little bit about the digital industry or the reasons or why it's a good option running a digital agency. I'll take you through getting started. You know, the first sort of year of creating a digital agency. If you haven't created a digital agency, I'd be interested to know if there is anybody in the room who has already started a digital agency, currently running one successfully, maybe did one in the past, maybe got affected by COVID, positive, negative. If there is anyone, shoots into the comments, I'd love to know. But really, you know, what I'm going to take you through these are 5 steps that you should follow as you build a digital agency, as you get started. Getting started is all about planning. That's what's really key. It's very much about planning. If you have these 5 steps, and that's what I've said out here, there's 5 steps, there's 5 plans you need to put together just to get started. You follow them. There's no guarantee to success like any business, but this is it's a good option. It's a good way to get started. Of course, if you do a Google search, you'll find 50 different options for how to, you know, 50 different things that people suggest you do when building a digital agency. These are 5 of the most common ones that are, I see, yes, Louisa also saying no, but I'll try and get back to grow part-time while doing another 9-to-5 job. So I see Anwar as well, got a question there as well. And as well, I'd like to take in consideration the future. So that's really great, guys. I mean, it looks like there's a little bit of interest as well. And hopefully this helps you get an understanding of what your steps should be. And when you guys are ready and you are taking those steps to start your digital agency, by all means, you know, reach out to me. Happy to meet with you guys and get you going. And I'll tell you a little bit about how we can support you in that on those first few years of the journey. But yeah, let's get into it. So just to take you through, the first plan is the business plan. So obviously you guys are all business minded. You've all probably written a few business plans in your time. You probably are following business plans, which is, as we know, is not always so easy to stick to the business plan, but that's what you want to do. You want to sit down and put together a business plan. You want to start, it can be as broad or basic as you like. Ideally, what you'd like to do, maybe this goes to that question about can you do a 9-to-5? Yeah, you can definitely do an agency you can definitely do an agency as a side hustle with a view to taking it full time and replacing your 9-to-5. The example that we give in this stage with new agencies that are startups, we always say you should be looking to replace your full-time salary. Obviously, you want to be able to make a clean cut from your current position, whatever you're doing at the moment, whether it's in the digital space or it's a different business altogether. You want to be able to replace your salary. The example we always get is you want to get to $100,000. That's what you want. You want $100,000 in the first year. If you can do that, you'll be replacing your salary and you'll be setting yourself up for success, and the ability, more importantly, the ability to make smart decisions, clear-headed decisions. So I say that because once you start getting into the digital space and you start meeting a few digital agencies, you'll start to realize it's quite a common thing in the digital space where digital agencies are on what we call a roller coaster. And I'll talk about the roller coaster in a little bit, where the ability to make clear-headed decisions, the ability to make smart decisions, it takes a bit of a knock as you start to feel the pressure of delivery for clients. And if your goals are set right from day one, you've got the right business plan from day one, you'll be able to make better decisions as you go along. The other thing that you need to get right is understand the product and the service that you're actually selling. So we talk about products and services. Obviously, digital agencies, what do they sell? They sell websites, they sell SEO, rankings on first page of Google, Google ads, copywriting, social media management, social media posts. These are the graphic design. These are the kinds of things that you're selling. What you've got to do is you've got to understand what is the actual product that you're selling. Is there something that you're is there an obvious product that you should be selling straight off the bat? Because you'll start to understand that digital agencies, you get all kinds of digital agencies. You get what people like to call 360-degree digital agencies who offer everything. And that's okay. That's good. Because often what happens is, just finding a client and signing a client and getting them to become commercial with you is a struggle. So once you've got them and you're building a website for them, you want to offer them as much as you can. So you start offering them and offering them and offering them. But maybe web design is your niche, is your speciality, and you don't do anything else well. That's why we exist. So you can come to us and say, hey guys, can you help me rank this website on the first page of Google and get the content written so I can go off and build another website. But you've got to understand, is there an obvious service or product you should be selling? Maybe the education course you're doing right now is web design. Maybe you've got some experience in a previous job where you did a lot of social media management, and that's an obvious place you should be selling. Understand your product and service first as you put your business plan together. You also don't have to sell everything right away. Again, we'll get into niching a little bit down below, but we talk more about the audience that you niche in, but specifically, you don't have to be stuck in one service or two services. There are resource partners out there like us who can help you provide all the services, or you can become a specialist at web design and stick to that service because that's what you love doing. That's what you're good at. The other thing that you need to understand straight off the bat is to put your business plan together is you must understand your audience. And this is quite key. If there's any creatives in the room, if there's any salespeople in the room, you guys will know that selling is about what? Benefits. It's not about features. Your clients don't care about the features of your product. They care about what positive impact it's going to make in their lives. How are you going to make their lives better? And that's what understanding your audience is about. As you put your business plan together, understand what your services, what your offering is going to mean as a benefit to your audience, not as a feature. They don't care that you're going to build them a website. That's meaningless to me. They might come to you and say, hey, I need a website. They don't need a website. What they want is more money. That's what you're building. That's what you're getting them when you build a website. You're building them a website so that they'll generate more leads, so that they can sell more, so that they can put more money in the bank. That's the benefit that you're trying to sell. So understand what your audience's key motivator is, and you'll get your business plan right. When you're doing that, incidentally, try and play on another sort of creative thing that if there's any copywriters or graphic designers in the room or marketers, they'll know you play on people's hopes and fears and aspirations. This is how, unfortunately, in case you haven't noticed, we're all victims of this from the advertising industry. They play on our hopes and our fears and our aspirations. This is what they do. That's how they sell to us. And that's what you've got to do here is understand what is your potential audience's hopes and fears and aspirations. And when you get that right, when you understand that, you'll be able to sell much better. You'll be able to provide them with a better service. So that's what you're kind of trying to do. You can also, while you're doing that, incidentally, if you're interested in getting your audience right, ask around. Don't be shy. Do a little bit of research and figure out what your potential audience wants. Then you've got to get your pricing right. Now, pricing is a little bit is a tough one, and I'm not going to go into it in this one. This is a little bit down the line. Obviously, once you're putting your business plan together, you're going to say, hey, I'm building a website, and what am I going to charge for it? A bunch of ways you can do this. You've obviously got to do a bit of research, compare to competitors in the industry, to people that are already selling websites. We've all priced out and asked, how much does a website cost? How much does an app cost? How much does a social media campaign cost? So get a little bit of research going and understand what your competitors do, but and understand what the industry as a whole is, and understand in your area what the industry is charging. Although digital is a global industry, and you may be able to leverage we're in Africa, for example. Obviously, our rand is weak, and we're able to execute quite cheaply in South Africa for international clients because English is our first language. That's just a smart business model. So we've taken advantage of what we've got around us, and we've looked at the industry and said, hey, how can we do things better for people in other countries? We're taking advantage of it. If you're interested, when the time comes and you're putting your business plan together, get in touch with me. I've got a great little free course you can do on setting your pricing in the digital agency. It's quite analytical. It's put together by Damo, the CEO of the business, and give you the touch points and the calculations you need to put together. Competitor research obviously is a big one. You can do it sort of a la carte when it comes to pricing, but just be ready to be versatile and agile as you put this together. And obviously get some help. We can provide you with, as I say, this course if you guys are interested. It's a free course, so don't stress about paying or anything. But understand that also that different services are going to be priced differently. The example I'll give is copywriting. So copywriting, you write a blog for someone, right? It's a 300, 400 word blog. We charge a set price for that. You as an agency could put a markup on that and send it off to your clients. Job done. PPC, which is Google ads and social media, Facebook advertising, those sorts of things, is a little bit more complicated. So there's a bunch of different ways to do the pricing in that service. You can do you can charge a percentage of the spend. You can charge a retainer rate. You can charge a hourly rate. There's a bunch of different ways, and the PPC agencies that specialize in this are pretty masterful at this, at getting that right. That might take you a bit of experience, but understand that different services are going to be set up and priced differently. A website may just be one set fee, or it may be a set fee for the basics and then add on whatever add-ons they want. As you get going, you'll start to understand a little bit better. So then you're going to just want to do the maths, really. If you're selling websites, for example, if you let's say you're selling websites, and as I said, I'm going to use websites as the example. You're selling websites. If you charge $10,000 for a website, and you're a new agency and you charge $10,000 for a website, and you know that you want to get to 100,000 for the year, you only need to sell 10 websites, right? That's math. So you need to sign up. As I say, websites are a good way to go about it, because it's kind of like selling a car. It's a set asset that you're sending to someone, right? As opposed to a PPC campaign or a Google Ads campaign, which is a little bit more, the budget is X, the budget is Y, and it gets a bit more complicated. $10,000 for a website, here you go. You sell 10, you'll get your 10,000, right? Obviously, if you're confident as a salesperson, if you come with a background of a salesperson, you will know, and this is where we're going to get into the marketing plan now, but you will know that if you need to sell 10 websites, and you know as a marketing person that every person that you speak to, every 10 people you speak to, you close one of them on a website. You need to speak to 100 people, you'll close 10 websites. It's pretty simple math. That's what the business side of it and the business plan side of it is you sit down and start planning out your agency. How many people do I need to speak to? We'll talk about that now in the marketing plan. How many people do I need to speak to before I can sell 10 websites? That will get me to. And then as you start to build 10 websites, if the first year goes well, you're building 2 websites, you go, hey, why don't I build 20? If I just double up the amount of people I'm talking to, I can start sending 20 websites. And it is an oversimplified way of looking at it, but that's the gist of it. What we have, as an example of keeping it oversimplified and keeping it very simple, we do a product for new agencies, and you guys are all welcome to chat to me about this once we're done. We do a thing called the Agency Starter Kit. The Agency Starter Kit is essentially a package where we started this off the back of COVID. When COVID hit, in the first 2 or 3 months, we started noticing a lot of people starting digital agencies. We said, hey man, people need help to start digital agencies. Let's get them going. Agency Starter Kit, it's basically a 2-month engagement. We build a website, we put the content together, we start generating leads, we do everything you need to get going on a digital agency within the first 2 months. And it's very quick and easy. So we'll just, as I say, we're more than happy to chat to you about it, and we'll also give you a voucher to spend with us, so that you're actually able to, we'll give you a bit of a lift up as well, so you're able to get going with us. Without any risk to start off with. So there's no risk as well, but we'll talk about that if you guys are interested. Then we talk about the marketing plan. And obviously now you put a business plan together, you've got an idea of I love this expression, measure twice, cut once. You've measured twice, you've got an idea of, is this something you can get into? What's it going to take? What do I need to do? What are the products I'm going to serve? What am I going to charge for those products? You've done a bit of planning, so important. Come to the marketing. Now you've got to ask yourself, who am I going to serve this to? How am I going to find people to serve this to, and where am I going to find these people? There's good news and bad news when it comes to marketing and selling in a digital agency or for a digital agency. The bad news is that the competition, as I said, there's a bunch of good news. There's a bunch of reasons why you should get into digital, and it's no barrier to entry, scalable, margins are great. That means that a lot of people have clicked onto that. And it means that you're not the only one going, hey, I think I should start a digital agency. The competition in digital is insane. There's a lot of people starting digital businesses, a lot of people going out there saying, hey, I can help. I can do your digital marketing for you with absolutely zero experience. And that's fun. That's why we exist, so that people can come and say, hey, I actually don't have any experience in building websites. Can you guys build it for us? Yes, we can, no problem. And you said it was your own, no problem. But it does mean that the competition is really, really great. So you've got to be swift. You've got to be quite clever about how you market and who you go market to. The good news, though, on the other side from a marketing perspective is that the audience is also insane. The amount of businesses out there that are looking for help in the digital space and looking for help to getting found online. And by that, I mean either through SEO, like organic searching, or through paid advertising, or on social media to improve their social media presence. All of these people, there are so many businesses out there, as I said in the beginning, that have had to go online and go, hey, I need some help online. I need to get my business better found. I need to get some help. There's a ton of people out there looking for help. But you've got to be clever about your marketing plan. How are you going to find these people and where you're going to find them? As digital businesses, we go, well, I'm great at SEO, so I'll make sure that my marketing agency, I'm in Colorado in the United States. I'm going to make sure my digital business is on the first page of Google for anytime somebody searches for digital marketing Colorado. Dude, if you think you're the only one who's clicked onto that in the Colorado area, you're crazy. So you've got to be clever about it. And I think, this is where being smart about marketing comes in, building communities, as Claire was saying, getting onto LinkedIn and just networking with people, just being active in Facebook groups, going out to traditional networking meetings. I know there's not a lot going on because of COVID, but going out there, you've got to be, you can't just rely on being a digital marketing agency to get found. It's one of the most competitive industries out there. So it's a tough one, but it doesn't mean it's insurmountable. It doesn't mean you can't do it. So yeah, I see some questions. Let me just check here. Is there anything to, I'll definitely, Marilena, I'll definitely give you my details afterwards. We can definitely chat. Industry niche specific is coming up. Industry and plumbing, agency B, and product position services B. So I'll answer the service. I think I answered the service one a little bit already when I was talking about. That's something you've got to decide as you go along. There's an argument for both sides. Some people argue and say, hey, you must be very specific because you must only build websites. You must only do social media. Because if I'm a dentist and I want to go and I'm looking for help with my social media, I'm going to search for social media. And who am I going to go with? I'm going to go with someone who brands himself and positions himself as a really great social media person over an agency or a person who goes, hey, I build websites and I write content and I'm on social media and I do video content. I do all of these things. What do you need help with? Like, there's an argument for both. So it really is down to you. But I think if you have, when you're getting going, I mean, this conversation is about getting started in a digital agency. When you're getting going, if you're able to find a service specifically that you already have experience in or you have a passion for, it's always a good way to kind of let that drive you into the conversation of, hey, which service should I start with? You can always tag on more services as you go along, but get started with one service. Don't try to bite off more than you can chew. Get started with one service that you're passionate about, love, or are great at, or maybe you're studying something on. You can talk to people like us and say, hey guys, I'm great at web design. Can you do the SEO and the copyright? No problem. But don't bite off more than you can chew, because what you'll end up doing is you'll end up letting your clients down. And we all know that finding clients and signing them up and actually getting them to say, yes, here's money, do work for me, that can be tough. You don't want to let someone like that down. We need to have any certificates. Okay, yes, yeah, we'll chat, but no, don't. There's no. There are a bunch of certifications you need. Sorry, you don't need. You can get Google certified, and there's a whole bunch of them, but you don't need them. That's the reality. For the good and the bad. The good is that anybody can start doing it. The bad is you get a lot of shitty, there are pretty shit digital agencies out there that are not great in what they do, and they give the digital industry quite a bad name. So it's all about providing good service and providing value to people. At the end of the day, people want value. They just want to pay $10 and get $10 worth. Cool. Let's move on. So just we'll talk about niching as well here. Onto niching. Niching is a big one, and I think it's a good one to talk about because I think I've just gone through the idea of generous versus specialist. COVID. What COVID has done is it's made a lot of businesses, while a lot of businesses have had to go online, a lot of businesses have much less cash flow to spend. So then they're much less able to actually put money into marketing. So when it comes to marketing, they're being very specific and clever about where they put their marketing. They want to know they're going to get, value. This is specifically, as I say, I think I answered the question about should it be a generalist or a specialist in terms of your service. I would say, get started as a specialist, get started with one service you're great at or passionate about. Or maybe you can partner up with someone who's great at web design and you're a great copywriter, partner up and start an agency together. But get going somehow. Don't bite off more than you can chew. You can generalize at a later stage. But being a generalist or a specialist in terms of your actual niche of clients that you speak to. So you're asking about plumbing or dentistry and stuff like that. The truth is that there's an argument again, as usual, for both. But what agencies generally try to do is they try to niche down and they try to find a niche that they can speak to and say, hey, I'm really good at this niche. I'm going to stick with this niche. Dentists in Canada or dentists anywhere in the world or plumbers. It's funny you bring up plumbing because plumbers, what they call in Australia, tradies, and what they call it in the UK. But those sorts of industries, those tradesman industries are really good at very big in digital marketing. They need to be. And one of the really good forms of digital marketing that they're good at is what we call local SEO. So the local SEO is, when you do a search and you come up with a little map with the 3 businesses underneath it, that's local SEO. Obviously, if you're a plumber and you're situated in a very small area of America or the UK, whatever it is, you're going to want to be found in that area. You don't want to have to go running all over the country. Obviously, you can't. So local SEO is a very big one for those. So niching down and getting into the plumbing industry or the building industry or the electrician industry can be a really good one to actually get into. The other reason to niche down, why it's a good idea to niche down, is you can rinse and repeat. So if you let's take the example of being a digital agency that niches in plumbing in your area or in a whole country. As you dig down into that niche and you start to understand that audience, first you get to put together what we call an archetype, and you get to actually understand what is the avatar of that industry, what is the avatar of that business, of that industry and that business. You start to understand what they want, what they need, what they struggle with, and you start to speak their language. And then you get to take what you learned from one client and repeat it onto another client. So you get to become a really, really good masterful marketer for plumbers in that area. And potentially you become known as the plumbing marketer. You start getting referred plumbers because you're that good at actually getting plumbers found. And that's what you become. So it's quite there's definitely a value in niching down into one industry. How do you decide, or how do you know, hey, this is the niche I should go into? Really tough one. Obviously, some niches are going to be better than others. Some niches are going to have no money whatsoever. Notoriously, generally anything to do with music. I've spoken to a few agencies. They say anything to do with music, they just don't have money to spend, so we just don't bother, niching down to it. If they come across our platform, bars and that sort of thing, hey, we'll do their work for them, but we don't go searching after it because they just never have the spend. Plumbers, tradies, those guys have spend. Lawyers, dentists, professional services, those guys have spend. So they may not have a lot of spend, but it's a good niche to get into because you're able to find people who've got the business. So that's a good way to decide, is this a niche I should start spending my time on? Is there something that you're particularly passionate about? Maybe in your previous life you were a lawyer. Maybe you studied hairdressing at school and you know something about that business and you're passionate about it. Maybe look into your past and see if there's something in there that you can maybe leverage off and say, hey, I think I'd be great at working with these guys, and I can actually do a good job for them. So look at those things, and maybe you come across, maybe you're a big fitness nut. I mean, a great example is fitness, the health industry. Currently with the COVID, those are two industries that have absolutely exploded, and we know why. You don't have to be a genius to figure that out. Probably a good opportunity for you to go into your area and say, hey, I can actually do something for the fitness industry in my area, or I can do something for the health industry. There's an opportunity here. The other cool thing, or a really important thing, is we build it, because again, we talk about business here. The other cool thing about niching down and understanding one niche in particular is, as you niche down, as you get things right for one plumber or one dentist, right, you're able to take what you learn and improve your processes and your systems and make them better. You're then able to take those improvements and copy again, rinse and repeat, put them onto your next plumber or dentist and improve the deliverability you give them. So if you're jumping around from niche to niche to niche to niche, you're learning about different niches, but you're probably not focusing on one and learning a lot about that niche and improving your services and processes, so you're able to improve deliverability. That's not to say don't chase away work. I think the privilege of chasing away work comes with experience and with age in an agency. Tons of agencies we work with don't work with certain people. They don't work with certain businesses or industries. They just turn it away. They pass it on to a friend or another agent, because they've earned that privilege, because they've recognized that this is not what I'm good at. I'm only going to let this client down, and I want to do a good job for them. And it's only going to frustrate me. It's going to cause hell in my life. So I'm actually going to say no, thank you. And they do that. You don't need to chase away work when you're starting out, but as you learn those lessons, you may want to stick to the niche that you get into. So let me just take a few questions here. Edgar from Google Club, we need to show you now a website. Yeah, so once you get your certification, you can put it onto your website and say, hey, I'm Google certified. And it means something. It's not meaningless, but most digital agencies don't go down that route. Do you recommend advising targeting business by size, ability to spend on marketing? Yeah, 100%. And if you're able to get that information, and this I think goes back to your business plan and when you're targeting your audience, if you're able to get that sort of information and you're able to do that sort of research and get that information from a business, definitely, if you know that businesses with 5 to 10 employees are the ones to go, or businesses with, it'll be tough to get, be tough to get what their marketing spend is. But yeah, generally bigger businesses are going to have more money to spend. But often when you go into, there's always going to be good news and bad news. When you go into businesses like that and you start asking those questions, generally what you find is those businesses have been around the ring already. They've probably already got a digital agency who's doing their work for them. And if they don't have a digital agency, they've probably had a digital agency, got fed up and taken it internal. So you got to just do that research. You got to try and figure that out. It's not easy and it's not fun, but the good news is that as you're starting to learn those things, you can still get working and start helping smaller people, and help with the smaller people, because that'll teach you a lot of, teach you how to get great at actually figuring stuff out for people. And then there's the execution plan. The execution plan is about how are you now, you've put your business plan together, you found your audience, you've decided who you're going to work with. How are you actually going to deliver the services, and how are you actually going to give people what they're paying you for? Of course, there's opportunity, what we call freelancers or subcontractors. And this is very common amongst most digital agencies. They all have subcontractors or freelancers in their area that are that work for them or that they partner with, and say, hey, you'll be my SEO guy. Whenever I have an SEO campaign, I'll send it your way. And then they have an arrangement and it works. There's ups and downs to that. One of the, obviously the versatility and the one of the positives is you don't have to hire that person. You don't have to pay them a full-time salary. You can kind of switch on the tap and switch off the tap whenever you need. That's a great thing. And there's a bunch of good, and they also bring very, very good skills to the party. Freelancers, they also, a lot of them niche down. They spend time on one specific thing, and that's what they're great at. The downside of freelancers is they can be quite unreliable, and they can be quite flaky. They can be here today and gone tomorrow. The other downside of freelancers is if you are using freelancers, generally they're in your own area. So if you're in the UK and you've got an SEO guy and a copywriter and a web designer who's helping you out, you're probably paying them in Great British pounds. And that's expensive, very, very expensive, because that means that your margin, what you're sending it onto your client in client for, is probably getting chopped down to a very slim thing. So, that's why a lot of the digital industry has gone offshore to what we call offshore, into the third world, India, Pakistan, South Africa. These are places where due to the weak currencies, we're able to execute at a much cheaper rate and provide much bigger margins to agencies. But there's challenges with that as well. Obviously, it's remote, different time zones. There's a whole bunch of things. So the reality is, what you've got to do is you've got to figure out what works for you yourself. What is absolutely key, touch on the roller coaster, is what's absolutely key here is understanding that there's a roller coaster. The roller coaster is basically about what we see most digital agencies go through at some stage or another. What happens with a lot of businesses is, digital agencies is, they will run into a ceiling of time and financial resources. Now, the last thing you as a digital agency want to do is you don't want to run into that ceiling at the same time. Now, what do those two things mean? Now, time obviously means the ability to actually execute, to actually do the job, right? You as a digital agency owner who's founding the digital agency, you're only going to have X amount of time to actually find a client, start doing the work, and actually execute, right? So you find a client and you're building a website and you're doing the job for them, and you start realizing, hey man, this is actually taking up all my time and I don't have time to do anything else. As you founded the agency, you've found it on a shoestring, so you haven't started with any budget. You're really just trying to shoestring it. You've got a 9 to 5 already, and you're doing it as a side hustle. Along comes you start going, hey, I really need some help, but I don't have any financial resources. I haven't put any money into this. I haven't started with a budget of any kind. I'm just trying to shoestring it along. If you run into those two things at the same time, you're going to be it's going to completely sap your energy, and you will fail. So what ends up happening with a lot of agencies, specifically in the first few years, is they'll run off and find a client, and they'll start building a website, and they'll spend all their time working on the website and days and nights and burning the midnight oil, and eventually they'll hand over the website to the client and they'll say, here you go, thank you very much, pay me, great. Come out of that meeting and go, hey man, I need to find a new client. So what they'll do is they'll go run off and try to find a new client for the next week or two, and they'll find a new client. And they now find a new client and they start building another website. And they hand over their website and they come out and they've got the client anymore. So they go look for another client. And what ends up happening is you start going into this roller coaster of up and down and up and down. And it's, trust me, I'm talking from experience here, and I'm talking from seeing probably at this stage close to 100 agencies go through this, maybe more. Agency owners burn out because they just on this roller coaster up and down, and it's probably, sorry, not probably, it's definitely not a thing that you need to the digital space either. This happens in most businesses, we that are starting up. We go look for a client, you find a client, you do the work, oh, don't have a client anymore, so we've got to go look for a client, find a new client, and it's up and down, and it breaks you, completely unsustainable. So you've got to make sure that you don't allow that to happen. Make sure that you have the plans together to execute without you getting sapped into it, and that allows you to go off and sell and find new clients and build your agency as you go. Does that, I mean, does that sound familiar to anybody? I mean, as I say, I know a lot of people have been in businesses here, and you know that this is a reality. So if it, you know, put a comment down if it does sound like something you've been through. If it is, I'm sorry, and I hope you figured it out, because it's absolutely, it's soul destroying. There's no better word for it. Yes, definitely, Anwar. If you're sure how to start, yeah, I've got some. So Marilyn, I've got some resources for you guys. 100%. I will. I'm not sure, as I say, like my first time here, so I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I'll give you my email address when we finish off here, so you guys can definitely contact me, and I'll get you going on the journey. It's not it's very, very doable. We've got a course called the 30-day kickstart, which will help you get started on your journey. Start answering a lot of questions, start asking you a lot of questions that you need to answer before you actually get going. And then the last thing to do is have a growth plan, because, you know, at the end of the day, why do we start businesses? We start them for success. We start them so that we can make money, and we start them so that they will be something that adds value to our lives. We don't start businesses so that we can just fail or be uncertain about. We want this to be something great. And, you know, I think when you're starting out in your business plan, this is a question we always ask agencies. When an agency comes to us and puts down their name and says, hey, I need some help, can you help me? We have a meeting with them. First thing, we call it a discovery call, so we can understand their agency. And the first question we ask them is, how are things going today? Where do you want to be in 3 years? And what's getting in the way? We ask that right up front, because a lot of digital businesses and a lot of the founders are on that roller coaster up and down, and they haven't had the time to actually stop and think, shit, man, where am I actually going with this? Do I actually want to get to a stage where I can sell my business? When we ask them that question, where do you want to be in 3 years? A lot of them sit there and go, wow, man, I haven't actually thought about that. And they give out an answer, but it works, the answer, or it doesn't work. But they walk out of that meeting going, hey, man, I haven't actually thought about where I want to be in 3 years. What is my exit strategy for this business? And I think it's key to say that right now, because this is why I put this in the growth plan. Have a plan for where do you want this business to go. If you shoot for the stars, you may not reach the stars, but you'll get into the atmosphere. You know, you'll get up there, and that's where you want to get to. You want to know that this is going to be successful. So make sure that you're planning for 3 to 5 years and actually having a business that potentially you're able to sell at a profit, or partner up with someone else, or turn into something, you know, maybe, you know, pass it on to kids or something like that, you know, have a family business or some kind. Build an asset, build something that's valuable that you can actually have. The other thing I put there is switching on the tap. This is really key, because when you know, you must think about a digital agency as a finely tuned engine. If you think about it like that, a finely tuned engine, you can switch on and it runs beautifully. And when you're done with it, you switch it off, but you know that you're going to go back. You can turn it on at any stage. It's going to run beautifully for you. This is the same thing that your digital agency should be. And this is not just your digital agency, but the way that you've set up your digital agency should be set up in such a way that it runs similarly. Set up your digital agency, do the work, plan, and put the structure together in such a way that you're able to say, hey, man, it's November. 1st of November, 2020, 2021, it's end of the year is coming. I'm going to turn the tap off. I'm going to take December off and put my team, you know, give them a bit of a break, switch the tap on. I'm going to slow things down a little bit. And as soon as I come back in January, boom, I'm going to pick it up again and turn that. And then as soon as you turn that tap back on, the business starts coming. Your sales pick up, your marketing picks up, your business picks up. All of a sudden, you're busy again. Go through the year, and at the end of the year, this is the kind of business you want to have. Maybe you want to do that in June. Maybe you want to do it whenever, in August. But the idea is that you want to have a business that you are in control of, that you are running, not a business that's running you. Because that's what happens with a lot of digital businesses. They tend to land up running you, and it's unsustainable. You end up working till 2, 3 in the morning on a client's website as a founder of a business with a team that's, hey, this person's sick and that person has let me down, and oh man, this client's shouting was like their website's down. You're dealing with all this stuff. It's unsustainable. You're never going to have that headspace. And that the digital agencies that I know of that have sold at a profit, or that have sold their businesses and become digital agency coaches, are those that have gotten that mindset right. They've set their business up to switch on the tap and switch off the tap and be a success. Have that in your mind as you start. That's pretty much it from me. I mean, I think, that's the idea. This is a very broad stroke idea of what you need to do to get started in a digital agency, and how to set up a digital agency. Of course, as I say, you can do the Google searches and do a bit more research. There's a ton of things you need to think about, but hopefully I've given you some idea of what you need to think about right now, as you want to get started. Things like how you're going to resource it, how you're going to niche, where you're going to find the clients, why it's a good business. I'm happy to take any questions if you guys do have any. These are my contact details. I'd love to hear from you guys if you do have any questions. The best bet is to get me. The best bet is to get me on my email, sloto@globitalmarketing.com. But by all means, please follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I'll follow back. We can start a conversation. Let's build a community. Happy to have you guys join our community. We've got a Facebook community as well, generally for digital agency owners only. But hey, man, this is what this is all about. You guys are going to be joining soon, hopefully. So would love to have you guys join us. Let me just see. Sorry, just one question. Yes, so as I say, please do email me if you're interested in the free tutorials, you're interested in the 30-day kickstarts, the 30-day kickstart course. And if you're interested, as I say, we'll support you guys in getting your agency started with free lead generation. We'll give you $1,000 towards a lead generation campaign. We've got our agency starter kit, which works really well on new businesses and get you started from within 2 months. You'll have a new agency, website, everything up and running. One question: how do you set up a digital agency? How many people extra from different fields do we need to form a team and set up an agency? So, Lorena, so it's a loaded question, and I mean, obviously, I think I've covered a lot of that here as well. I'll put the email here into the chat. But in terms of experts, I guess that's what we exist. We've got all the experts you guys need. If you need help with SEO, web design, copywriting, anything you need, by all means, reach out. You don't have to run around looking for different people in different places. We've got it all. But I think you need to start by following some of the stuff I've said there about, building a business plan, getting your planning done right before you start doing anything. Louisa, please do follow me on Facebook. Steven Starter on Facebook. You can find me there. Claire, thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve. I didn't realize you're on that time difference. Kudos to you. It's like the middle of the night.
Oh no, for sure. So it's actually been about 2 or 3 months in the making this, because I was moving over, and I don't know if I'll be able to go back now. So I'm stuck. Who knows?
Did you go to bed or have you got up?
No, I got up because I started here with you guys 3 a.m. So it's now 4 a.m.
Yeah, so you're probably a bit tired. So thank you so much for sharing all of that. It was really, really interesting, and you seem to have some good interest in the chat as well. So
yes, 100%. No, thank you for having me. And I must say, it was quite interesting hearing your stuff as well. As I said, is we've got our own community, and man, community, I think, is where it's at the moment. I think it's quite interesting. 5 or 10 years ago, I was a journalist at a magazine, and people back then were saying, people are going to be working around their own little communities in the future. Facebook will just be a thing where you have, and look at where we're at now. I think it's completely that. It's a great way to find new business as well.
It definitely is. And I've been saying this since 2013, community will be the core of all businesses in the future, because I think there was a time where we were just going for products and purchasing and we're looking for the cheapest price, and then it just bottoms out and we can't go any cheaper. So it's like, well, what can we get outside of the, just looking at the expenses side and having the support and things. So community is so important, and it's definitely something that's needs to be invested in and grown over time, like you no doubt done as well. So
100%. Well, thank you for time zones. Thank you for inviting me to your community here. It's been a really interesting. As I said, I'd love to get more involved. I'll speak to Simon and to Max as well. I think as I say, I'm quite, you guys are amazed. I'm up at 4 a.m. I'm amazed that you guys on a Saturday morning are sitting here doing business stuff. It's like,
that's how we roll, you see. Saturday morning, this is where it's at, definitely. So.
And it's got nothing to do with that, the fact that it's freezing outside, I hope, hey?
No, we just love it. We just love to be on here every Saturday morning.
No, it's good. It's
you
fantastic.
You can go to bed now, though. You can go to bed.
Yeah, cheers. I'll do that. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much, Steve.
Thank you. Hey? Yeah, be well.
Excellent. So everybody, that rocks up. That finishes up Saturday School for today. And I hope you got loads of value from today. We'll be back again next week. Should be Ben next week. So hopefully you'll see Ben, or if not, it will be me, I should think. But definitely it should be Ben. So thanks for staying to the end. Thanks for your comments, and yeah, fingers crossed for Ben. And then it'll be Christmas. I don't know how many more we've got until the end of the year, but we'll keep going. Excellent. Thank you, Anwar, for staying on. I hope you all have a lovely Saturday, and yeah, I hope you do all those fun things. No worries, Lorena and Marilina and Hazel and Dimitri. Fabulous. And yeah, so that is good. That's all done. Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry, I got slightly distracted on my presentation, so it was very off-putting. It's like, what you talk and then you're like, oh my gosh, what am I saying? I'm so off-put by this chat. But anyway, so thank you. Someone stepped in to help me out, so thank you for that. Anyway, have a lovely Saturday, and make sure you put something in action. I always say that if you come along today, take something that you learned today and put it in action. What will the topic be next week? I don't know. Ben's video guy, and so maybe it's about video marketing. I don't know. I haven't asked. It's always a surprise. I'm going to do podcasts again, aren't I, in the new year? But I'm not sure what the topic is, but look out for the email. It will be coming up, so you better check it out. So anyway, yeah, that's it. I think that is it's a wrap, as they say. Take care, everybody, and yeah, see you soon. I'll see you in 2022, probably. Bye, Ian. Bye, everybody. Bye.